Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I usually meet people who come and want to ask questions about as regards to financing, and they're always wondering, why am I not growing financially? You look at them, they look like they're made up. You look at their hair, you look at their makeup, you look at the cars that they drive, you look at where they live, and you see that they're made up, but they're still struggling financially. So what is the problem? The major problem is probably because they have very high standards that are actually very, very costly, and they have no money left behind to invest towards their financial growth. No matter how much money you make, it does not matter. How much you invest is what is going to help you grow in your finances. You can fight to get more income, but as long as the money is going through you and out of you, then you are not making any financial headway. The major problem with most people is not that they are not making money, is that their living standards are such that they are so high that they cannot be able to invest enough to be able to sustain the same lifestyle. So when I talk about lifestyle, what am I talking about? Most people actually eat out, and eat out quite often, and these establishments can be quite costly. I remember one time going out with my wife, and it was this fancy restaurant that had just opened up, and I thought, why don't we just go and eat here? And when we went to this place, we went and ate a meal, the two of us, and realized that the bill was coming to around $150 or 150 euros, thereabout, 15,000 Kenya shillings for a meal for two. And we inquired, and there were usually regular patrons that come to these places and pay all this money for food. We went only for one time, and it was painful enough. But the people who constantly go to these places, it may be for enjoyment or to enjoy some luxury or some ambience, but by and large, this high standard of living is going to cost you financially, because you end up spending more than 200% of what you would have otherwise spent on normal establishments on food that you could have prepared back at home. Of course, the other thing is the going out. You're always constantly going out. And the thing about going out, especially in high net worth events, is they usually come with a dress code. You end up having to prepare to be able to go out. You have to buy a new outfit, you have to upgrade something, and you have to apply something, and you have to look good, smell good, and arrive good. And this is actually costing you money. So going out is one way that is going to cost you a lot of money. And look at the people who actually go out so often, the people who actually showcase their lives so often. Look at how much they actually spend for just one day of going out. It is a lot of money, and it adds up slowly. So lower your standards, and you will see yourself investing your money more prudently. Of course, the other one is in the fancy neighborhoods. I met someone who said that they cannot live in a lower than standard place where they grew up. So they must live somewhere that is a lot greater than what they're used to. So the need to be able to live in this place is not because they need accommodation or they need some comforts, but because they need to live better than where they grew up. So the question is, you may live better than where you grew up, but will you be able to retire the same place? High standards that you set upon yourself, high expectations that are going to cost you money. Look at the rental prices. The prices between one location to the other in Nairobi city, the cost will actually astonish you. Some places may go as low, just for a 2-bedroom house, standalone house may go from $20,000 or $200 to $2,000 or 200,000 Kenya shillings. The same 2-bedroom standalone house. The cost may actually fluctuate even further. Now, the problem with neighborhoods is this: you live in this fancy neighborhood, even the cost of food will be fancy. I went visiting somebody in one of these fancy neighborhoods, and I found that a price of milk, a packet of milk that has a recommended retail price of 50 shillings or 50 cents dollars, was actually going for 80 cents or 80 shillings. 30 shillings markup for the kiosk in this fancy location just because of the location, nothing more. So fancy location, fancy expenses, fancy school fees, and it actually adds up. So ask yourself, what is the markup price for living in this fancy neighborhood? Again, high standards that are going to cost you financially. Of course, the other thing is the expensive schools. And I've talked about schools, and I will link a video up here why schools can be actually financially painful. Before you pay for a school, look at the most expensive class, and the most expensive class is usually the highest class. So grade 13 going up, the highest class in that education system. Look at how much they pay. If you can be able to pay it now, then by all means go ahead. But if you are struggling to look at those figures now, then you are probably outpaying how much you can actually afford a school fees. And remember, you have one child today and tomorrow you might actually have two. And you cannot take one to a fancy school and the other one to a funny school. You have to take them together so that they feel at par. Then I talked to a certain friend and they gave me the realization that you take them to a fancy school, you may need to take them to a fancy university. You cannot take a child to a fancy international school and take them to a local university later. So think about this cost as you start taking your children, because again, the other conversation was you take your children to this fancy school and then you break their heart where you are unable to sustain. Why are you building castles that you cannot be able to sustain, whether you can finish these castles? So school fees is like a castle. Can you be able to finish this school and with this standard that you have set for your children? High standards that might actually be punishing you financially. The other thing is expensive friends. Look at the people that you hang out with. I tell people, look at the people you hang out, show me the people that you hang out with, and I will show you how your finances look like. If the people that you hang out with spend without thinking about financial future, then you are probably just like them. And expensive friends are going to cost you a lot more money because you need to catch up with them. And as humans, we are social beings. We want to fit into this clique. And to fit into this clique, we might find yourself doing what our friends are doing, buying what our friends are buying, living where our friends are living, and the cycle continues. And before you know it, you have dug a deep financial hole that you need help to actually come out of. High standards that are going to cost you a lot of money. Of course, the other one is to maintain a social status. You want to maintain a social status. You want to walk with an aura. You want people to salute you when you walk. You want a presence. But remember, presence comes with costs, and it is going to cost you a lot of money. For people to respect you because of the big car comes with higher running cost, higher insurance cost, and actually higher expectations from the people who are around you. Remember, you buy one car today and tomorrow you are called for harambe just because you have a car and you look capable. Of course, the other problem with high standards is you start despising the small beginnings. Your high standards are making you question just the small savings that you can make. You want big money so that you can make big investment, and you forget a little today saved consistently becomes big in the future. So you have spent all this money on this high lifestyle, and even the little that you could spend, you are despising because your standards are such that you cannot save these little pennies, and you end up not saving at all. This is attitudes that are going to cause you to go broke. So remember, don't live large and retire painfully. Ensure that you have a balanced life and you are actually investing towards your future. My desire is that in the beginning years of your life, that you are able to secure yourself financially, then you can be able to relax later, because once you have done that, you have secured your financial future. And may something come unexpected like job loss, you do not have to suffer shame or to make your children go through disappointment, because you have secured something to pay for expenses in the future and to live a little bit comfortably. I hope that you are learning, you are growing, and you're becoming better in your finances. Remember to subscribe to the channel, to leave a comment down in the comment section, and to like this video. Thank you and enjoy your